Since the end of February, there have been a total of 18 school shootings since the beginning of 2018, and a total of 290 since 2013. A total of 59 deaths and 124 non-fatal injuries due to school shootings. More than half the kids obtained the gun at their own home. President Trump has mentioned arming teachers as a possible solution for the gun violence in schools, and Indiana is one of several states that allows for arming teachers and other school employees. We interviewed a teacher here at Fishers High School to see a teacher's viewpoint on all these school shootings. How do you feel about all the school shootings since Sandy Hook?
I think it's really scary, and even though we feel like we're safe in any environment, we just have to be ready and prepared. So I think those practices of alert and just knowing that you don't just sit in a room, you have to get out if you can.
Now we will show you a video clip of a teacher who worked at Stoneman Douglas High School giving her opinions on arming teachers.
Especially your teacher, guns in the classroom?
I would definitely say not. I have no problem having a concealed weapon or being at home and having it in my home. I do not own one, but my in-laws next to me do. And, yeah, it does make you feel safer and have that point of protection. But in the classroom, I don't know. There's so many fights that I've broken up at the different schools that I've been at and the school that I'm currently at. And it's these are kids that have passions, very raging passions. And when they get into fights or arguments over something on Twitter or Instagram or just how their day went and having a bad day and somebody just reacts to them wrong, having something like this in their vicinity is just not a good idea.
We have researched 2 court cases involving the Second Amendment. We will talk about how each one relates to the current issue we see in the Second Amendment today. In the McDonald v. Chicago case, the Supreme Court ruled that individuals should be given the right to possess a gun for self-defense. We could use this case in a positive way and see the use of guns in our schools as a form of protection for our students and children. However, when you look at the statistics, guns are rarely ever used in self-defense. Less than 1% of victims use a firearm as a form of protection during these crimes. In the years of 2007 through 2011, there were about 30 billion crimes involving a firearm. Only about 250,000 people used a firearm as a form of protection. Schools should look at this and realize that weapons are rarely ever used for protection and could potentially lead to other dangerous situations.
Another case is U.S. versus Kirkshank. In this case, a Caucasian man killed 100 African Americans during a political dispute. This case shows that guns can be lethal and can lead to many deaths, and putting them in the hands of teachers can potentially be putting students at risk.
We wanted to get a closer look at the students' perspectives of arming teachers. We created a survey and asked students at Fishers High School a series of questions regarding the use of guns in school. We first asked students if teachers should be allowed to be armed in school. Only 11% of kids said yes, and about 56% said no. The remaining 33% said maybe. We then asked students if they would feel safer if teachers carried in school. 61% of students said no, while 11% said yes, and the remaining 28% said maybe. So based on the survey, students at Fishers High School would not want teachers to be armed in school. We then asked a teacher and administrator in Fishers High School how they feel about arming teachers.
I personally would not want to. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with it all, and I know it's very controversial, and some government thinks it would be great and some wouldn't, but I think it would take one deadly accident that was a teacher or a student grabbed something that they shouldn't have, and then it's going to be worse than anything before. And I want to feel like a teacher. I don't want to feel like I'm a warden carrying a gun. I want the kids. I have a good relationship with my students. I feel like they can come to me and talk to me if they need to, and I would be kind of afraid that that would put me in such an authoritative figure with a gun on my body that would I have those relationships still. So
having a gun is a very serious thing. It's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. And I have great worries that one of my teachers would shoot a student. I mean, I can't imagine anything worse than having to be in that situation or even having that situation. I wouldn't want that for my teachers.
Now we will show you a video clip from a school who has already armed teachers to see why they feel it'll protect students.
President Trump has suggested that arming adept and highly trained teachers with guns would prevent future school massacres. And as incentive, he proposed giving out bonuses to teachers who undergo the gun training.
Now, the idea, as you know, has been met with both criticism and praise. There's a school in Texas, though, who's already putting the president's proposal into action. Here's CNN's Ed Lavandera.
We'll do whatever's necessary to protect our kids and staff.
This is the stark message that greets you when you walk into one of the two school buildings in Callisburg, Texas. Superintendent Steve Clugston oversees what the school district calls the Guardian Program. It's a small force of volunteer school staff allowed to carry a concealed firearm, and Clugston says they're equipped to confront an active shooter.
We don't want to be at the mercy of, somebody that's intent on doing harm. We refuse to be that person.
One of the biggest questions regarding the issues today is whether you feel safe in your own school. We asked the teacher and the principal here at Fishers High School if they felt safe here. And do you currently feel unsafe in your school?
I don't currently feel unsafe in my school, and I think that's because I don't know. I can't say it's an environment because in Florida, they lived in a really good neighborhood too. It was a school that was one of the best ones on their safety. I just hope we know what we're doing. I know we have, like in the CCA, we have glass walls. So they have these lockdown doors here that locks it in so no one can get to us. In the other rooms, I think in all the school shooting cases, no school shooter has ever broken in beyond the door. So as long as you can close yourself off in 90% of the rooms in the school, you would be okay, So especially with the whole Alice thing, and now it's not like sit in a room and hide behind a cabinet. It's like, be active, get out if you can, arm yourself if you can. It makes me feel proactive and better about it.
And do you feel like our school is safe here at Fishers?
Yeah. So I feel like we have procedures in place. I feel like we have environmental investments, and I feel like we have training that have greatly enhanced the safety of our school, let's say over the last 10 years. So procedures in place. We have secure vegetables in FH19, FH1. So you have to show ID, you're locked in and locked out when you come and visit our school. We're on a perimeter lockdown throughout the school day. We have an armed SRO in our school at all times.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out.